Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Eons of Battle. Now I've been collecting Space Marines since 2014, and my army has been steadily growing since. It's grown so large, in fact, that I'm not completely sure what's in it. I think I need to get organized. This is a project I've been thinking about for a while now. As my collection grows, I want to be able to stay on top of it. I need to know what I got. And now that I'm branching out into more and more different game systems, I want to move away from just remembering everything. Really, that's just not an option for me. I have a goldfish brain, and anything out of my eyeline for too long ceases to exist. I want everything out of my head and stored safely in a binder. And I think the perfect testing ground for this is my Black Templar force, my pride and joy. So why did I choose the Black Templar? Well, they weren't my first 40k army. When I first got into this hobby, I started out with a box of Necron death marks. That was my first intro into 40k, and I fell in love while building and painting those models. It very quickly snowballed into an entire Necron army, the many thousands of points, and I was really excited and really interested in really getting into the hobby, but I feel like, just like a lot of people's first 40k armies, it kinda sucked. It wasn't that good yet, I didn't have the experience I had now. And so that army, I made a lot of mistakes and it wasn't very well put together or very well painted. That has since actually been fixed in a video, a 1-week painting challenge where I actually took that army and updated it with the abilities and painting skill I have now. Check out that video. But that army kind of sucked. I felt like I was finished with it, and now that I had all of this new skill and experience, I really wanted to put it towards a new army. I felt like I could really do a good job now, and so I decided that my second 40k army was going to be Space Marines. And reading a bunch of the lore actually led me to really appreciate the Imperium of Mankind. It's a really interesting setting for the world. It's kind of this failed state where the ecclesiarchy rules everything. There's a god emperor of mankind, but it's a little bit of a sham. And I really fell in love with it. It's a tragedy that humanity has come to this. There is, you know, in 30k, everything is great and the Emperor is keeping everything perfect, but now it's 40k and humanity is on the decline. And I really appreciated that. I thought it was really interesting. It's really what makes 40k unique compared to a lot of other sci-fi universes. But I didn't think that the armies really reflected that much. I just felt like the Imperial Guard was just the Starship Trooper soldiers, and the other colors of Space Marines, I felt, you know, their loyalty and bravery also wasn't really befitting the dark and gritty Imperium of Mankind. And that is when I discovered the Black Templar. The Black Templar, they're all about castles and churches and candles and cathedrals and prayer and worship. They are absolutely what I feel like the Imperium of Man is. They're a reflection of what it is. Where the other Space Marines are kind of the best of society, these Space Marines are kind of the worst. They're almost chaos in how awful they are. I really love them, and their look, I felt like if I want an army that really reflects the 40k universe, that this was gonna be the army that's it. They worship the Emperor as a god. They believe in righteous zeal and anger over strategy and tactics. What I wanted was an army that would give me the feel of the Imperium, and the Black Templar, they're it. The Black Templar will serve as the perfect guinea pigs. My army is a little bit scattered to the four winds, but it's time to get them all in one place so that I can go through them. Oh my goodness. Seeing it all laid out in front of me, wow. Guy's not standing up. Holy moly. Ah, it's so big. Wow. That's what she said. I'm completely blown away. I haven't seen it all like this. A few years ago, I did set them all up, and but I've never had it all set up with the unpainted and the painted stuff, because there's a lot of it that's not finished. Holy mackerels, does it look really cool all set up. All right, so I want to organize it. So what do I need? I need a document that has the unit name, the unit type, probably its paint quality, its build quality, magnetization, and then probably general notes. just so that I have room for everything I need to write down, everything I need to know. So let's make that document. I used Google Docs to create my form. I inserted tables to house the different information. I could have used a spreadsheet maker, but I wanted something with big fields I could fill in person with a pencil instead of just a list. The handwriting will help me remember what I've got. Now armed with my documents, it was time to write out those notes. I didn't make much use of the points or power levels box. It made sense conceptually, but really, I can just get that info out of the codex. I started with the unit's name and type. I will be organizing my binder by 40k unit type, like HQ, troops, and fast attack. Then the last 4 boxes is where the real info lies. With how to paint, I added paint quality and any touch-ups I see. The building section includes notes on damage or missing parts. Magnets were the most frustrating, as many models had magnets but no magnetized guns, so I'll have to find and replace those. Then, lastly, general notes became basing notes primarily, as some models need to be rebased or bases need to be repaired. Filling out this form gave me the opportunity to rediscover some models I don't think about that much, like my Razorbacks. I have 5, in various stages of building and painting. I do love this model, and it looks like I should spend more time painting them instead of buying more. And one of my favorite models in this army is my unassuming Assault Marines. But they did not start out that way. They were Black Templar Initiates. But they performed so poorly in so many games that I decided to glue on jump packs and transform them into a fast attack choice. I have been collecting this army for years and years, and it's a time capsule of my painting journey. It has my best and worst paint jobs, and it's really interesting to see them side by side. Like this captain I painted in high school, next to this chaplain I painted last week. All right, I think that ought to do it for all of my individual units. The only thing left is HQs. And boy, there are a bunch of them, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to find a different method because I don't wanna fill out 40 pages of just one HQ. So I think it's time to make a list. It only took a few clicks to edit my document into a smaller list for just my HQ models. The old sheet had plenty of room to fill out because this is for an entire squad that might be made up of tons and tons of miniatures, whereas all my HQs are gonna be one-offs. I have tons and tons and tons of HQs now, but I did not used to. For a long time, I would avoid HQs because I had a lot more fun painting big squads of models or vehicles. And it also helped me stretch my hobby dollars because I would buy, 10 guys for a certain amount of money instead of just one hero for almost the same amount of money. But in my old age, I have completely 180'd, and so now I love pouring tons and tons and tons of time into single models. So I have amassed quite a collection of heroes. We are constantly trying out new hobby techniques, and if you like seeing them, the best way to support us is by becoming a member of our Patreon. Over there, you'll gain access to some behind the scenes, voting on what models I paint live on YouTube, a hobby hangout live stream every week, and more. With that out of the way, it's time to fill out more paperwork. Filling out these HQ forms, I could see the end in sight. I could not wait to hold the entire army in my hands. All right, I have all of my notes here in front of me. This entire table of miniatures now exists in these pages. It is finally done. I have this entire collection of Black Templar Space Marines contained in this binder. So now whenever I want to list build, instead of perusing my shelves, bins, baskets, baggies, and wherever else I keep things, I can just curl up with this binder. I could also give this to a friend if they want to borrow some models of this army so that they could build some lists. And if I want to make myself some to-do lists of things to do repair or what models need to be painted, I can also access the binder. One thing in going through this army with a fine-tooth comb is a lot of it is magnetized. And here's the thing about magnetization. It's wonderful, but you have to make sure you keep track of all of the magnetized weapon options, and I have lost most of mine, which kind of sucks. So if you want to set out on the path of magnetization, please do, because it's very fun and very interesting, but make sure you hold on to those baggies. If I had a binder like this a few years ago, I probably could have left myself notes saying there is a bag with 2 plasma guns and a multi-melta that is part of this unit, and that would definitely help me keep track of things. And so much of this army being gray also reminds me that a pile of shame, not a very good thing. Sometimes a pile of shame is referred to as a pile of opportunity. I think the pile of opportunity should be at the game store. You go to your friendly local game store and you peruse all of the beautiful boxes on the shelves and you pick yourself out something nice, you bring it home and you paint it. Because now, as much as I love all of my models, you know, I've been staring at this guy for months and months and months. And so the joy and the excitement of acquisition is past. And now, you know, there is plenty of joy left in the painting, but it's not as much fun as a sexy new thing. So with my organization done and I have now reintroduced myself to my Black Templar Space Marine army, I have one question. And how many points is this army? I don't really know. The last time I did a head count, I believe it was at 5,000 points, which is a lot, but it has grown a little bit since. So having everything broken down into points is nice, but really the sexy number to know is that points value. And so I want to go through this entire army one last time while I have it all out on the table, and I want to find out exactly how many points this army is. To find out how many points my army is, I could use pen and paper with the codex, but things will go a lot faster if I use BattleScribe. When you first open the program, it doesn't look like much. You can't start editing yet, you have to download the game you want. You have to click on the 3 lines to download the data you need. It'll prompt you the first time, but click on Add Data. This will bring up a list of games that BattleScribe has data for. I want Warhammer 40k 9th edition, which I found near the bottom of the list. Click on the rules you want, and you might expect to click on Add Source, but nope, that is for adding your own unique data, not downloading BattleScribe's. You click Done, then the file will begin downloading. Now you can create an army. Click on the Document tab and a box will pop up. Click Add Force, and then a menu will pop up and you can select the army you want from a drop-down menu. Then you can pick what kind of detachment it is, and since this is not a real army, I just checked reinforcements. Now you can highlight that force and press OK, and you'll be brought into the list building page where you can select units from the list on the side and add them to the force. If you click on a unit in BattleScribe, it'll show you all the options available to that unit, and you can add the equipment you want. That's the basics of BattleScribe, and because I have so many units, this is going to take a little while to punch it all in. BattleScribe's not too bad once you get the hang of it, and I'm entering in the last units now, and BattleScribe is going to calculate the total for me, and all of these Space Marines on the table right now are 9,607 points. 9,607 to make this army. Wow, it has grown a lot. This army has become my pride and joy. It's been a labor of love. It'd be even more awesome if it was all painted, but it just gives me more stuff to work on. I absolutely love this army. It has been a journey. I remember painting some of these models way back in high school, sitting in my little chair and painting with my little paintbrushes, and now I have painted one of the best models I've ever painted for this army. I am very, very happy with where this army is at. I'm very happy that it is now organized, and 9,607 have a little bit more room before I hit that 10,000 points. I remember back in the day, I would go on Daka, and underneath everyone's posts, they would have their little badge. And on the badge, it would say their army breakdowns. It might say 7,000 points of Eldar, something points of this. And my badge would say Minigamer J, 1,000 points of Orcs, 1,000 points of Death Watch, 1,000 points of Genestealer Cults, and 10,000 points of Black Templar Space Marines. So, this is how I'm gonna be organizing my forces moving forward. Let me guys know in the comments below how you stay organized. And now it is time for the real star of the show, this week's EOB Complete submissions. We put out a challenge to our community to send us before and after photos of their recently finished models to be immortalized in our videos. If you want to join in the fun, you can submit a before and after photo of your painted mini to our Discord server, which you can find in the description below, or you can post it to Instagram with the hashtag EOBComplete. Without further ado, let's look at and get inspired by what the folks have finished this week. A Spider by Shadow Nomad, some Guardsmen by Alex Smith, a Chaplain in Terminator Armor by Commander Cadre, a Cypher by Warren Potapaint, a Contemptor Dreadnought by Daryl Lennon, some Custom Terrain by Vic444, some Grey Knight Terminators by Blue Breath, a 40k Command Edition by Butte the Noob, a Mars Base by Vite009, a Sister Dogmata by Power, some X-Wing Miniatures by Pifo, an Elf Wraithlord by Player Sionin, a Black Templar Gravis Captain by Ender Scaparan, a Necron Warrior by Strutton, some Imperial Guardsmen by Just Make Stuff, some Necrons by Fist and Stone, an Angry Marine by Fly NTY, a Saurus Warrior by Joe Dracos, some Grey Knight Terminators by Barry, a Furioso Dreadnought by Dreech, some Space Wolves by Disco, a Chaplain and Terminator armor by Mr. VMAX Jr., a Boom Daka Snaz Wagon by Rat's Tail 91, a Tau Biker by Obscuro, and a Black Templar Sword Brother by Red Badger 91. Congratulations to everyone for a job well done. It's no small feat to get paint on a mini, and you all should feel really proud. Nothing gets the hobby juices flowing like finishing a project, and we all thank you for sharing your work, motivating us and the hobby community to paint our plastic. Thanks for sharing.